Sup, motherfuckers. So, I'm in a good mood. I'm in a really good mood, which is kind of weird because ever since after the breakup, I've been in a very depressive state and I've not really had motivation to do much. Um, but recently, I don't know, I feel better. Um, Work is going good, therapy is going good, you know, taking care of my mental and physical health has been going good. Uh, Admittedly, I think that a lot of it has to do with just the process of moving on. And that's what I want to talk about, is moving on. At the start of the breakup, fairly few days after, everyone was telling me that I need to move on and to just forget about my ex. And although that seems like good advice, or even great advice to someone that's still hung up about their ex, I think it was bullshit. You're telling me to move on from someone I spent days, months, hell, years putting time and energy into? Someone who I loved unconditionally no matter what. Someone who told me all of their secrets with confidence. Someone who I learned to love and cherish. And you want me to just forget them? You want me to just forget the same person who I had dreams with? The same person who I thought I was going to be with till the day I die? The same person who promised me that they would love me no matter what? And you want me to forget them and move on with life? As if it was easy? I wish it was that easy. I wish I could just forget all the memories we shared together, like the time we walked on the beach late at night and just talked about our future together. Or the time we went mini golfing and they destroyed me. Or the time they came to surprise me for my birthday with my best friend. I wish I could just easily forget all these memories and move on with life and forget that I was with someone who I called my forever. But honestly, it's not that easy. After the breakup, I was depressed. Like I said, I moped around. I didn't want to do anything. I refused to get out of bed. I couldn't eat. My God, I couldn't eat. Just the thought of eating made me sick. And I always felt nauseous. And I know that I was supposed to eat, and eventually I did, but I still felt disgusting. I still felt, I don't know, ill. But it hasn't been recently. It wasn't until recently that I've been eating healthier and I've been eating consistently. And I've been working out a shit ton and kind of taking care of myself. I got a job not too long ago, and I've been in therapy as well. And it's all have been, helping me in a way. But admittedly, I still think it's not enough. There are times that I think about my ex and I'm reminded of them. Whether it be a clip off TikTok or YouTube or Instagram, or someone saying a certain phrase or just one of their stems. I remember almost all of their stems. And I still remember a lot about them. And I wish I didn't remember a lot about them, but I do. And I think there's kind of a bittersweet thing about that. I love this person so much that I am capable of mourning them. I'm capable of feeling, I guess, the sadness of losing them. And it does suck. It does suck being in a life without that person. That same person who I text every day. That same person who I looked forward to talking to every day. That same person who I looked forward to ending my day with. Admittedly, I guess I didn't really show that in the relationship, how grateful I was to have someone like my ex. And I'm angry at myself for doing so, because they were a good partner. Well, they were a pretty good partner for most of it, I guess. I wish I showed them more, more love and care. And I wish I showed them how grateful I was to have them in my life. But now I am moving on. I'm not dating yet, and I probably won't date for a while. I don't think I'm mentally ready to date, because I just won't be bringing anything to the table. I mean, I'm still thinking about my ex. Why would I get with someone if I'm still hung up about, my past relationship? That's just not fair to them. So I probably won't date for a while, and that's okay. But I am now, not thinking about my ex all that much. And I'm not keeping up with their social media. I'm not talking to people about, you know, them as much. Necessarily, the only person I talk to about them is my therapist, and that's because I'm still finding ways to cope and move on. My ex moved on very fast. They got with someone fairly quickly after the breakup, and that really did a number on me. Um, I felt easily replaced. I felt like maybe they didn't love me in those final moments, and stuff. But something that I've kind of researched and also learned through therapy is that, people have different ways of coping and moving on. And although I want to be angry and upset at my ex for, getting with someone so quickly, at the same time, I mean, that's their way of coping. That's their way of moving on. And I have to accept that. And I'm not going to intrude on that. They deserve to be happy, and if they're happy, they're happy. Like I said, it still hurts because I feel easily replaceable, but, at the same time, there's nothing I can do about it. I can sit and be sad and upset about it, or I can just let them and I go about my day. I know eventually I'll find someone who I will love again and someone that I would want to be with. I'm just taking it a bit slower. And this is not me dogging on my ex or talking ill of them or bad of them. I'm just, I don't know, expressing how surprised and hurt I was because of this. And I deserve to be allowed to, just as much as they deserve to be with the person that they are with now. I don't control what they do. They don't control what I do. Another thing that's kind of helped me is the fact that they are with someone else. I guess knowing that they are not single kind of helps me know that there's no point of me waiting around. They found someone that they want to be with. So why would I wait around for someone who doesn't want to be waited for, I guess. And like I said, I want to find someone, eventually. And admittedly, if my ex came back into my life and I was single, I think that I 100% would give them another chance with me. I mean, they broke up with me, so honestly, they're the one giving me the chance. But at the same time, it's still me giving them a chance to be back in my life. Although they broke up with me, I still have that option to turn them down. They weren't perfect, neither was I, but I still, I know that, it goes both ways. And that kind of helps. Something that I've learned through therapy and my own research is attachment styles. How you are in the relationship. I was the anxious attachment, and they were the avoidant attachment. And this is, what I've learned from my research is that the anxious attachments such as I, will often feel, scared, and they want to reconnect with the person they just lost. Um, like, begging or blowing up their ex's phone, or, constantly breaking no contact, trying to fix things, and trying to win them back. And oftentimes, anxious attachments will not get into relationships for a very long time because they, work on themselves. They give themselves time to, kind of grieve their relationship and kind of mourn everything. And eventually they will move on, but it's a lot harder. The avoidant attachments, they will often bury themselves in their friendships or work, or even get into a new relationship fairly quickly to kind of cope with the emotions, and so that they don't feel them. Now, neither is good or bad, okay? Just because you're anxious and you don't get into a new relationship immediately doesn't mean that you are the quote-unquote better one out of the two. I think they're both pretty bad. The anxious, is breaking no contact, not following what their ex wants them to do. And you're also not only harming your ex, but you're harming yourself as well. The avoidant often buries themselves in a new relationship, and they don't take time to heal themselves and become a better person. I think they both are pretty bad. And if you're either, because you're always one, there are some people that are both, but often one is more than the other, then I really recommend you to, if you are the anxious one, to not break no contact. I broke no contact like 3 times, if not way more, and it ruined my chances of getting back with my ex. 100%. And I wish I hadn't. I wish I had realized that we should be no contact. I go heal myself. I become a better person. And then I try to contact them. If you are the anxious attachment style, do not break no contact. Block them on social media. Get rid of any way you can contact them. And just better yourself and move on. Because it will get better if you do it that route. Now, if you're the avoidant attachment, I recommend obviously not getting into a relationship. You can hang out with friends, you can play video games, you can focus on work or anything like that. I guess, technically, you don't have to listen to the advice, and you can get into a new relationship if you truly believe that you're ready to. But oftentimes you're not. You oftentimes don't, take time to better yourself, and you kind of just find distractions. I'm not the avoidant type, so I feel guilty talking about this, trying to give advice, and I probably shouldn't be giving advice, but it's something that I do want to talk about because I have friends who are the avoidant, and I have 2 friends who are the avoidant, and they're currently in a breakup situation, and I don't want to see them go down a route that they will regret. You should take time to grieve, feel sad, feel mad, feel, whatever you want to feel, and obviously change something about yourself, Take that time to heal and better yourself. And then you can get into another relationship. Or you can get back with your ex, whatever you want. I think it's very important that you know, you take time. Moving on is not only moving on from your ex, but it's also moving on from your past self. You know, you might be the reason why you guys broke up. Well, you got to move on from that. You can't just sit there and be angry at yourself and sad at yourself for how you behaved. You have to change, you know? And I think that's the most important part of it. Apart, of following, everything else, the most important part of it is also changing who you are. Becoming a better person. For not just yourself, but for other people. And for not other people, but just for yourself as well. It's important that you heal. I feel good and I feel better because I've been taking time to heal myself and better myself. I was also recently told some things that hurt a lot hearing, but it also, I guess, kind of helped me move on. Knowing that my ex is with someone else has helped me move on a little bit more. It hurts a lot, but it did help. Moving on will never be easy. You can wish it is, like I do. I wish it was, but, ultimately it will only be easy if you make it easy for yourself. So, move on if you can. You can grieve, you can be sad, you can be mad, you can feel all the negative emotions people often feel after a breakup. But most importantly, you need to just move on. You should not wait for someone that's never coming back to you. You should not, sit there and hope that they will come back to you. Because they might not. You don't know. You'll never know. Only they will know. Especially if you want to get with someone new, you have to move on from your ex. You cannot sit there and think about them when you're with someone else. That's just not fair to that person. You really need to just move on and accept that it's over. Yes, you might have a chance in the future, but right now you don't know that. And you won't know that until it happens. So until then, all you can do is move on. And I highly recommend doing so. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to move on and just be a better person. If they come back into my life, they come back into my life. If they don't, they don't. There's nothing I can do about that. What I can do is move on and let them go. If you truly love your ex, you will move on and let them go. You won't try to fix something that obviously cannot be fixed right now. You won't bombard them. You won't break no contact. You won't do anything that's going to harm the situation even more. Please, for the love of God, don't do that. That's what I did, and it ruined any chance I had getting back with my ex. I still love this person, and I miss them daily, and I think about them every waking second. Anytime that I don't have a distraction, they're on my mind. But I also know that they're with someone else, and that they're happy. And that's what I want for them. I want them to be happy. And whether if that's with me or not, then so be it. If you truly love this person, you will move on and let them go. My final message is this. If you're in the same situation as me, seriously, let them go and move on. It's the best thing you can do for yourself. Delete all of their social media, okay? Delete any photos you have of them. You need to do a 30-day detox where you don't talk about them to anybody. The only exception is your therapist. You don't look at their social media. You don't look at photos of them or videos or clips or whatever. You don't listen to voicemails. You get rid of them. Stop keeping someone in your life that does not want to be a part of it. They left you. Okay? Move on. I wish someone told me this sooner. Well, to be fair, people did. I just didn't listen. I wish I told myself this sooner, if anything. But, move on. It's gonna be hard, but it's not gonna be impossible. Anywho, I love you, and goodbye. I don't know when I'm gonna be posting this, but I think I'll be posting it on what would have been our 3-year anniversary. So, that kind of sucks. I don't know if you're listening to this, but I love you. Goodbye.